Hi there, this is a follow-up to those cocoons that I was finding in our plant container mix that we emptied out the old containers into the wheelbarrow. You'll see that, no, I haven't given up looking for cocoons. There's still lots of them, and I'm actually finding worms that are beginning to hatch because of our warmer spring temperatures. But I wanted to show you, now where did it go? Oh, it's over here. Look at this cocoon. I've never seen anything like it. It is a double cocoon that is joined together. So those two cocoons are not just stuck together, they are actually fused at the center like twins. Maybe what I'll do is just grab some water here and just gently wash it a little bit. I put some water on them to stop them drying out in the sun as I was rooting through the wheelbarrow. So let's hope that comes into better focus. So I've washed it off a little bit. You see how it's actually two cocoons just joined together? One larger and one smaller. Very fascinating. I put a Canadian dime here to show you the size of some of these cocoons. Canadian dimes are about the same size as American dimes. In fact, I think they're identical sizes. So you'll see some of these cocoons, how large they are. Comparison to the dime. I believe these worms are, these cocoons mostly belong to Arctiostrotus Vancouverensis, the worm that is unique to this area and a small area in Washington State. It's the only place in the world that this wild worm is found. It is a wild worm. It is not native to exactly where I live in Victoria. The maps from UBC show slightly west from here, probably 40 miles. But then we got our manure from a farm that was out west of here by, about a 3/4 an hour drive. So these cocoons are mostly from that species because I know that because I've been bringing them inside and putting them in this container and hatching them out and then taking the cocoons, or the worms rather, out to my garden towers when they hatch. You'll see that there are cocoons still in here from before. This is a very, I'm sorry for the lighting, this is a very wild bin. I haven't attempted to make this into a traditional cocoon nursery or a traditional worm bin. It is manure, aged manure, and leaves. I guess there's a little bit of shredded cardboard in here to maintain moisture. But because these are wild worms, I'm thinking they need this wild environment, and they are cold worms. So when they hatch, I take them out of here and I move them to my garden towers where, we still have springtime temperature. But, I cleaned out the worms, 4 or 5 of them that hatched a few days ago. I don't see any that are crawling around right now. So, I really want to catch this native species in all forms of the life cycle. I did put about 10 or 15 cocoons that I found directly into the garden tower with a few worms that I found in that container mixture. But, I'm being a little greedy here. I want to see what these worms look like as juveniles. I want to see what they look like, as they grow up a little bit. And so, I want to have a cocoon nursery. I want to get, 40 or 50 of them and see what they look like. So that's my goal with this nursery that I've developed. So what I'm going to do is, obviously I don't want the dime in there. I found a sprout in the container mix, so that will go into the bin. And then all of these cocoons are gonna go into the bin, including our little twins. I'm gonna call these the twins. 2 cocoons. I wonder, did one worm must have started developing 2 cocoons. One cocoon, see, try to get it into focus. Oh, there looks pretty identical in size. I was just wondering if one cocoon didn't fully shed and then the other cocoon started to form. Interesting. So I won't be able to tell when these worms hatch which one came from our twin cocoons. Probably not, because worms that are conjoined. Anyway, I'm gonna splash them out with some water here because this bin was getting, this cocoon nursery was getting a little dry anyway. So I'm taking this lid that I was using to pick out cocoons with and just washed it off. And there go my new infusion of cocoons. You know, I'm not going to disturb them now, but I wonder if I should have put that twin one in a more prominent location. Yeah, I don't think so. I really want to protect these cocoons, keep them moist. So I don't want to stick it on the top or anything where I can watch it more carefully. I'm greedy, but I'm not greedy enough to threaten the life of these worms. So there you go. So I put a little piece of bubble wrap over it, and I'll leave it probably another week. Oh, forgot their damp piece of, I've got a damp piece of Kleenex, that paper towel that I put in there because it was soaking wet, and I thought it would keep the humidity nice and high in there. And so I just keep an eye on it. There is food in there for any worms that emerge because it's manure. Anyway, it's in a neat little cocoon bin. So I'm hoping that in another week maybe I'll see more worms, and I'll let you know. Bye for now.